This is a hard one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This episode?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So for me personally, like love is kind of one of those things where it's just like I don't really have the best like time explaining like my emotions and shit like that. I've always been very like quiet regarding like how my emotions are because I don't really like express like being gushy gushy about anyone.
Yeah, that's understandable. I don't think a lot of people are anymore.
True.
I feel like with the world nowadays and social media, it's uh, it's quite the possibility that it's teaching us how to be, or teaching us how to have less depth with other people. Not just with the change in how we communicate, but just the way how people think, the way how culture and traditions have changed. Like, it's very different from what it used to be. And nothing ever stays the same. So I wouldn't just say, like, tradition or culture has to be a certain way. But yes, it does change and it has. And there are always going to be pros and cons. And one of the cons of nowadays is I think people are more shallow. Not because them as a person, they're shallow, but because the world teaches them that when you interact with people, depth is not important anymore. Just how many friends you have, the quantity of things. And we've lost the idea that quality is also just as important in people, in relationships, and it affects how we love.
Mm.
But that's just my observation and thought.
That's a valid observation. That's a valid observation. You know what's so crazy? I didn't record that. Well, we are recording that, but like it's on video, but like the audio isn't recording. But we're gonna get into it, okay?
Mm-hmm. If you'd like me to repeat it, I could with the best of my abilities.
You're doing perfectly fine. I appreciate you and your time.
Thank you. I
Ready to rock
appreciate
and roll?
being here. Yes.
Let's go, Roger Ramjet. Three.
Wait. Sorry. Are you gonna start with being like, "Hello, everyone"?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Trying to look at the script.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tomb. I'm your host, Tut himself. Jesus Christ. Honestly, the fact that like we are, I think, como se dice, like 11 or 12 episodes, maybe 13 episodes deep by this point. I don't know, but oh wait, no, we're not 11. We're like 10. Okay, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. But like, it's the fact that I'm still like messing up my intro. It's like absolutely crazy to me. It's like I wrote this down because it's like a script, but it's just like the kid in me is just saying, yeah, no, we don't do scripts. We do this shit off the dome. But it's whatever. But it's whatever. But as I would like to say, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tomb. I'm your host, Todd himself, and I'm here with the exceptional guest, the queen herself, top dog, Miss President, President Park, Miss Erika Park. How are you kicking today?
Good. Thank you for having me. It's quite the honor. Those wings were good. I just had wings from Good Measure.
Uh, Outside the filming, we just came from a little friend date. It was a little vibe. It was cool. It was a cool little vibe. It was very fun. Yeah, no, I don't really go out to Good Measure very often. So whenever I get the opportunity to, it's honestly like a very good experience.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't been there in a while either, so it was very nice to go out. We got to meet the cook slash, I think, part owner, Todd. He was very kind.
I'm very good at individual.
You might have to edit that out because I don't actually know if he's the manager or the owner, full owner, or.
We'll make a Todd plug. We'll make a Todd plug.
Mm,
We'll make a Todd plug.
You like shout out to Todd.
Shout out to Todd. Shout out to that guy, Todd. Yeah, no, he's nice. He's nice. Very great folks. But we are coming up to you. We are coming to you from up north. I'm not saying this shit no more, bro. I can't
Stop the
stand that
cap.
shit at all. Like I try to, like I really, really try to, in all actuality, because it's honestly so funny. I actually really enjoyed when I wrote it, but the thing is, like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue like I thought it would. In all
It's a new
actuality,
day. It's a new day.
man, fuck a script. But no, like, we quite literally are coming to you from all the way up north, where the cold sets in quick and the Ben and Jerry's are stacked high, till it makes you sick. Vermont. We are back at North University campus in the upperclassmen barracks. Ooh, we love the ranch. Ransom
love
Ranch,
it.
baby. We making it happen. Back at 505, no Arctic monkeys. But one day maybe, one day, you never know. You never know. I feel like it'd be pretty funny when it happens. But we're coming out like from so far, so far. Oh my god. Yesterday was an event. Today is an event, and it's just been going. It's just been going for real.
It really has. It's been a tough week for a lot of people. Beginning of midterm exams, the start of the roller coaster, till the end of the semester, pretty much.
You are so very true. So very, very true.
Yeah, we all out here busting ass, struggling, but we gonna make it.
We will make it. We will make
We
it.
gonna make it.
We will 100% make it. So by the time this comes out, I will have probably recorded like 4 episodes before this. That or like parts of episodes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive regarding the way I do this. It's just like I want to be more respectful. I want to be more respectful to my piece. Because like, don't get me wrong, I really do love this, but it is quite the regular schedule with like playing 2 sports, work, naval obligations, the court obligations, fucking school.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on like trying to like have a social life and shit like that. But we find a way. We find a way. It's all right. But before we go into the episode, I would like to say, as I always say, that I hope this podcast specifically becomes something that everyone could love, enjoy, accept, and spit on. I'm sorry, I started doing that and I realized it was hilarious. One day I'm actually gonna like to get a spit jar and just like what? But no, but I hope that it's something where people can feel like comfortable like telling their stories and being very open and being prepared to listen to people's opinions and stuff like that. Because there's a lot to listen to. There's a lot to know. There's a lot to learn. And I'm here for it all. I love listening to people's stories, no matter how like hard or long it is. I'll make the time if I have the time. And even if I don't have that time, we'll make like short little brief moments if we can, because that happens. You're not always going to be able to have those moments to like be able to sit down and have those long-winded conversations. Those all-American yap sessions, if you know what I mean. But one day, we'll make it happen. But on to the topic, as I see. The overarching topic. Drum roll, please. I'm sorry. Because I started getting into it. It's... I think I mentioned that I was going to do this episode a while back. I don't know when. Oh, wait. You wouldn't see that. Okay, speaking of that, yeah, I recorded like multiple episodes before this. Like I've recorded I think like 5 or 6, and I'm probably going to only use like 3 in all actuality. But like I was thinking about having this episode for a very long time because it's something that is a little like dear to my heart personally. Because like quite literally, I'm learning to love, not just in the metaphorical sense or in the spiritual or emotional sense, like the physical wise. Like I want to learn it all, but to do that, I have to be willing to accept the fact that I'm learning. I don't know everything about this shit. For fuck's sake, I was actually like thinking about it earlier today. Like I don't even have like a definition. Like one of the main questions I was gonna go over is simply like, what is love?
Mm-hmm.
Like just the overarching like idea of it. Like that's pretty much the normal question, normal question number one. But it's time for the random question,
Mm-hmm.
which is not really that random anymore. We know exactly that it's coming. How was your yesterday?
How was my yesterday?
Yes.
I mean, this whole week's been kind of difficult for me. Um, Someone who meant a lot to me, who I thought we were going to build a life together and a future, I made the decision to end that relationship. So, and it was because I realized that there are times in love and relationships when you have to realize you've done everything you could. I think you could still love someone, but there are times when you need to love someone from afar because, or else you'll end up losing yourself. Especially if you're someone who really devotes yourself to relationships and that kind of love fully. No bullshit, no halfway. You're 100% in, 110% in, to the point where you're dedicating a lot of time and energy of your life, sacrificing a lot of things for this person, but you never do it because you expect something in return. You normally do it because you just simply love them for who they are, and that's okay. There's gonna be a time when you have to ask yourself if you're losing a lot more, if you're giving to the point where you have nothing left. And that's when I think you need to realize that it's time to understand that perhaps you need to learn what it means to love yourself, before you get into a relationship. And that's like a huge realization that I had. And of course, this person betrayed me many times, but I was still there because I thought it was in the name of love. And it was, but it just became a toxic kind of love where normally love is supposed to be good for everybody, you know? It's supposed to be good all around, selfless, giving, but not to the point where you're destroying yourself. I think that's an important thing to note. But
very, very true.
sorry, that was such a heavy answer. You're just like,
No,
how was your week? And I was like,
no,
you know
okay.
what? Existential crisis.
So the thing is, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're perfectly fine. I want you to understand this. Something that I realized is that like that's not just a question for myself or like a question, like a random question. It's one of those type of questions where, like, quite literally, it could build upon to anything.
Mm.
Whereas, like, it could just start a small conversation where it's just like, okay, yeah, we just asking how my yesterday is. But what would happen if I asked you, how was your year? How was your hour? How was your minute?
Always living to the fullest, doing my best. I think we're all looking for like that stable, ground where we can stand on. But in life, a lot of times it feels like you're on a boat. It feels like you're on a boat that never stops rocking. And sometimes some things, like you told me at the bar, some things might rock you a little bit, not as much, or in between. And there are other things that may completely tip you over, or even almost tip you over. But I think what matters is that we're still on that boat, waiting to get to land, so that when we get there, we'll be ready because of our experiences. We'll be ready and more able and capable of being fully grateful for the things to come, the good things, you know? And that's also something that's very important, because life is not about the destination or just the destination. It's also about the journey. Even when things suck, you know, we have a saying here, embrace the suck. Because it's real.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't embrace it, then you're just not allowing yourself to really fully feel, fully experience everything. So that later on when you turn back, you're like, oh, I fully embraced it 100%. I wasn't being half-assed or fake about it. Because you were being real. You're allowing yourself to be truthful to yourself and those around you. And that's honestly what I think is really useful, really good and motivating about Norwich. Is even though it sucks, like, we push through. We really do. All of us.
Very, very real. That's so real. Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am so fucking burnt. Like, I didn't realize like how
Dude,
tired
we're cooked from that
Bro,
last
we're
place.
so cooked. I didn't think I was gonna be this tired, but it's okay. So this is not the latest I've ever recorded. This is probably the most tired that I've been recording. So I might break down a little bit. I don't really know. It's a kind of a heavy topic for me. Cause like I I speak on this topic quite a bit, like personally.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like I kind of just wrote these questions like off the dome, and normally like I get help from others. I reach out to people, but like some of the questions were genuinely things that are just on my mind, and it'll be things where it's like I don't have to like overthink it. I guess
Mm-hmm.
it'll just be something just straight off the dome. It'll be right then in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that.
Man.
But to do that, I guess we gotta
Mm-hmm.
start with the first question. I guess. What is love to you?
To me, I think of the Bible verse that talks about love, and it says that love is kind, love is patient, love is not boastful. I'm pretty sure that's not the full verse, but you know, you kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
I catch your drift. I catch that wave.
And I believe that everyone could possibly define love differently, because love can be very different, whether it comes to your family, your friends, your romantic life, your partner. It means a lot of different things to people. But ultimately, I do think that love are those qualities of being kind, patient, gentle, not boastful. It's unconditional, essentially, to love someone unconditionally, which is a quality I don't think any human could possibly reach in their lifetime, only because we are human and we're imperfect. But I think the beauty of being human is that we still try. And that's how we make that love authentic. That's how we know that it's real. Whether it comes to our family, friends, or romantic lovers, that's something that is similar, among the three. But personally, that's just how I was raised to view it. I wasn't quite loved well, you would say, I guess, growing up. And that's something that I'm okay with admitting. And I'm okay with it because life's a journey and I'm learning it too. And it's hard, but I want to learn that, And I think that's what you mentioned earlier too is like you're trying to learn it. And you were talking about how, growing up, you had a similar experience and you want to learn it now. It's so possible. And I think it's great that to even start this conversation, no matter how heavy, nowadays people don't.
Don't say it. Don't say anything. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Nowadays people don't have the courage to bring up topics like this. You know, it's too cringe. It's too cruddy. It's too whatever people may think it is. But ultimately, when we grow older, I think it's a real question that everyone will have to come across and learn and define, whether you do it now or later down the road when you're 80. Everyone comes to that realization. And I think when you realize it, you'll start to learn how to really love yourself. And that'll teach you how to love others fully.
True. Extremely fucking true. Before I go into like my own like physical definition of it, I was gonna like try to like say what Google believes that love is, or at least the definitions that they speak of.
Mm-hmm.
So Google states that love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something, uh, feeling deep affection for someone, or like the liking of enjoying a person. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like it's way more like complicated than that.
Complex emotion that can be defined in many ways, including
a strong feeling of affection.
So love can be described as a strong feeling of affection for someone based on kinship, admiration, or companionship.
Love can also refer to a benevolent concern for the welfare or good of others.
Love can also refer to sexual attraction or erotic desire for another person.
Some say that love is not an emotion, but rather an essential physiological drive.
Love can be seen as a practice where one enacts loving values and standards, such as empathy, respect, and vulnerability.
Love can be seen as a delight in and movement toward the good in another.
For couples in long-term relationships, love can mean loyalty and commitment.
For many, there are endless definitions, but to us it is a driving force that can create bonds or destroy worlds.
It definitely is, but, it's Google.
True. For me, personally, I think love is kind of a learning experience where every day you come to practice. It's like, for me, it's like a practice. I think because I'm like extremely critical about the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like from just being there for my partner, like pleasuring them, giving them the things they want, catering to my partner, shit like that. I'm pretty critical about it.
Mm-hmm.
I always ask like questions regarding like what needs to be done, what can I do to continuously make you happy? If this doesn't make you happy, what can I do to go forward? And I realized that it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But to have like that and to give all that, like I have to be willing to receive it. And not only receive it, to be able to give it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because in all actuality, it's just like before, like you get, as you said before you get into any relationship, like you need to be able to love yourself, be able to give yourself the treatment that you're willing to give other people. Because people always say like, treat yourself how you would like to be treated. But what if it was like the opposite for me at least. Whereas like I personally like I have a really bad habit of it. It's like I'll ignore a bunch of fucking red flags, and I mean like
Oh, trust me, I'm right there with you.
them red flags don't be. I think everything's a red flag when you have ruby red glasses on.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's something I just have to learn to deal with. Something that I kind of just have to accept and that I have to grow with. Because I have understanding that like this shit hard. Like it's hard. This life shit. But
That's so real. It's hard, this life shit. You're right.
no, you're okay. But
It is.
I've come to terms with the fact that it's hard. But like you shouldn't make it hard on yourself by trying to do things that you know that you can't handle, or doing things that you can't do. So like for me personally, right now, like my definition of love is being able to like be there for my partner, mentally, physically, and emotionally,
Yeah.
and spiritually if needed. But to do that, I have to be there for myself.
Yep.
I have to be more than willing to like take some time for myself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. To be like, just do small little checkups, asking if I'm okay. Because I can't do it for others if I'm not willing to do it for myself. But that's just me, at least for right now. I don't know. But as I said, it's a learning experience. I don't know what love is, to be honest. And I normally am much more quiet when it comes to this with these episodes, but like I felt as though I should like speak a little bit more on this one. And I apologize if it seemed like you have like anything you ever like that you want to say. So like if you have any questions or things you want to get off your chest, literally say it. It's okay.
No, you're perfectly fine. Honestly, I know that this episode is very important to you and you want to get really personal. You really want to open up. And honestly, this is, like you said, your official safe place, safe space podcast. And you should be allowed to be just as open here.
True. Very, very true.
I mean, honestly, I think this is great.
I tend to forget that sometimes. Like, even when I'm like having people like come over, because like, so the thing is, my room is like almost always set up like this, because I have understanding that like I do like little therapy sessions for my friends and shit like that. Like I'm the therapist friend personally.
Yeah.
So like I always have my shit set up like this, where I sit in the big chair, they sit in the little chair, and we just gam and have like all American yap session about like the shit. But sometimes I realize that I need to sit in the little seat sometimes and allow somebody else to sit in the big seat. Somebody to ask me questions.
No, that's what friends are for.
So if anyone ever wants to like sit in the big chair for even like a little bit, that's fine.
That's what I'm doing. I'm right here with you.
I appreciate that.
Anything you want to say, feel free. This is your podcast. Like, I think it would be really valuable to talk about your experiences too, you know?
We'll definitely get into more of that. But good Lord. So how can individuals embrace their strengths and flaws in the journeys towards self-love?
I think self-love is very difficult, especially in a world today where it teaches you not to love yourself, teaches you to compare yourself to people on social media, the person next to you. It's a very jealous culture, if you know what I mean. Very never content with yourself, always looking for something else, something more, instead of, you know, sitting down quietly and reflecting and being grateful for just what you have in front of you, what you already do have, you know, your own capabilities. Because there's always going to be someone who's smarter, you know, there's always going to be someone who's stronger, someone who you, frankly, would deem as prettier or more handsome than you. But at the end of the day, I think people are most beautiful and shine brightest when they're able to realize their own full potential, their strengths, really. Even if you have one strength, that's enough. That's what you're good at. That's part of what makes you, you. And a lot of people forget that and they lose themselves. They lose themselves to the everyday life, the everyday cycle of getting up, going to school, doing what needs to get done, and then just going to bed. Or waking up, going to work, coming home, going to bed. It's the same cycle. But if you can fit in there, hobbies, things that you love doing, try something new. You want to learn how to dance, go to that dance class. You only live once. And a lot of people are always constantly afraid of what someone's thinking about them when they walk into a room. Oh, everybody's looking at me. Oh, that girl just gave me a weird look. Oh, he gave me a weird look. He definitely hates me. That's not even true half the time. That's just us getting so caught up in our own thoughts and overthinking it to the point where we're becoming overly self-conscious to the point of delusion. And I think that's something that's very preventable, and that it's a process that comes with self-love and self-confidence. And that's what you do to build it up is to shine when you do things that you love and do best. And make that into a career or a side hobby on top of your career. You will grow like no other. You will shine. You will love life like no other. And you know what? And then spread those good vibes to other people. Share them the secret. Let them know. And then find people who love doing what you love too, and connect with people. Build relationships, a social life, a social circle. Give back to the community. I mean, that's all you need, really, to be happy. To feel like you're giving back to the world and you have a purpose to do what you love and know that you're good at it. I mean, it's really not that hard. But at the same time, with the obstacles that are thrown at us, yeah, it's pretty hard sometimes. But it is possible. And I think that's something that will help people on their journey to self-love, really. I know a lot of people say, like, oh, build confidence. And they're just like, you can do it. Just be confident in yourself. Like, you can't. They don't give you a step-by-step manual. But to start, I can give you advice. And from my own personal experience, without a manual, that I've struggled with so long, is find what you love, or just pick whatever hobby that you want to try doing and do it. And to your surprise, you may be so much better at it than you thought you were. And then you'll grow to love it. And with that, you'll spread the joy and the love, like find other people, and that's when you connect. It's what gives you happiness. So it makes you feel like you're doing something for yourself and changing the world too. Even if it's a tiny bit at a time. But that's what matters. You can't change the whole world in one day. It takes a lot of small little steps. Small little things build up. That's why the turtle always wins the race, not the rabbit.
Jesus.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You just like spit so much knowledge on me. But I want to go back to the pattern.
Of course.
The point where it's just like you feel as though you're living like a Groundhog Day. Where it's like you feel like you're always doing something. So me personally, I realized that one of my toxic traits is that I kind of fall into my old habits sometimes. They're not like really really bad, but like I think they're bad. I believe that like I could do better and be way better without them. It's just like yes, you can like cater to people, but like I tend to forget about myself when I'm doing it.
Could I say something about that?
Yes.
Are you saying that your habits of catering to people too much is bad because you completely forgot about yourself?
Yes. I would definitely say that.
Okay.
I'm willing like I'm like don't get me wrong, like it's good to care about others, but like
Mhm.
it gets to a point where it's like I forget like natural bodily things. Like I'm like scheduling time to like, do things, but it's like I know that's like my nap time, which I be needing because I be waking up at like 6 7 in the morning, and then going to bed at like fucking 2 in the morning, trying to edit, trying to do homework, trying to do shit, and still like trying to like schedule them in, do whatever I need to do. When in all actuality, I just need my rest. Like now that I think about it, like I probably should have taken a nap earlier, but I was like so stressed about everything else.
Oh, you couldn't.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get better at it personally because I understand that it fucks with my patterns, and like I know everyone's like, yeah, no, living that Groundhog Day is bad. Like you shouldn't want to live that Groundhog Day, but like to me at least for right now, my Groundhog Day is quite peaceful.
Mm.
I don't really think about like too much. I don't stress too much. Like yes, I worry about money sometimes. Yes, I worry about like food sometimes, where I want to live, where I want to go, career wise, hobby wise. But I try not to because I need to live in the moment. Some people say that I'm like the equivalent to Mr. Krabs, I guess. I don't fucking know why. I am pretty money hungry, but like I always have this thing where it's like I try to find a way to make a buck off of an opportunity, but that's not really important. But what is important is that my days are peaceful right now.
That's good.
And I believe that I'd like them to stay this way.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean I don't want to add like little things. Like one of the things I personally do is like I try to do at least one random thing a day.
It's a good goal to have.
Like it doesn't matter what it is, how bad it is, how funny it is, how silly it is. Do one random thing a day. It's a good habit to have. Like I'll read a different book. I'll like get into something like that I didn't even know I would want to do. Like adding new things that I can edit. Like I don't know, man. Like I guess an example of like the one random thing a day was me starting to cut hair. I was like one day I just like decided, you know what, I want to start cutting hair, and now I do it as a side gig.
Mm.
Like that one random thing of the day like kind of made it so that like my mental is like it helped at least. I don't really know because like don't get me wrong, I love my Groundhog Day, but I guess I get bored sometimes. I wouldn't call it ADHD. I just get really bored sometimes.
I think essentially what you're doing is creating a break in between a vicious cycle that's going to continue. And you're allowing yourself to have this moment in that break where you're like, okay, I'm going to do something to surprise myself today. I'm going to do something to, make myself feel more differently outside of the norm that I already live in. And I think that's quite healthy. think everyone needs to do that, but when you get caught in that cycle so much, some people forget how to do it. You know, it's like the story of this children's book where this dog was tied to a tree and he would play with kids and the townspeople every day. But every time nighttime came, he would cry. And one day the sun said to the dog, like the literal sun in the sky, was like, hey, why are you so sad all the time when, you know, when the night comes? And the dog's like, oh, I want to play all the time and be with people, you know? And he's like, then why don't you just unhook yourself from the leash? But the dog says, I can't, because I've forgotten how to. And I think that's like the cycle that some people are like in. It's like they have this leash or this chain that holds them back sometimes, and maybe they don't even know it. But at least for you, you could recognize that. And I think you're able to do that because you take the time to reflect and really think about your day and who you are. You know, you don't have to always think about 100 steps in advance, like your future. But when you're able to, you're creating this healthy space for you to allow yourself to be, just be.
Shit, to be honest. There's this random fortune cookie thing. I'll probably make a cut to it or something. But it said something that honestly, like, I think about all the time. I can't remember it off the dome right now. I'm gonna make a cut to it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminded me that sometimes it's best to just let it be. Let shit go and just kind of keep it pushing. Just do what's really good for you.
Mm-hmm.
We can go more into this topic a little bit later.
Can I say one more thing?
You're okay. Say what you gotta say.
About your habits that you say that you think are bad. Honestly, yes, I agree, but I would like to tell you that I think it's bad because it's a strength and a weakness for you. It's a strength for you because you're so kind and giving to the point where you quite literally forget about yourself at times. So that's why it's a double-edged sword. But if you're able to hone that and essentially work on yourself to recognize when you need stuff, like a nap, you know, maybe you need nourishment, maybe you need time to just be alone. It's to like recognize that and be like, okay, even if I don't record today, or even if I don't listen to this person talk today, there's always gonna be another day. But there's only today for you to get this nap. There's only today for you to get this nourishment so you could keep going. It's essential for your survival. To deny yourself of that means, yes, you kind of are making your life a bit hard for yourself.
True.
But I just want you to know that it's not all bad. The reason why you're doing it is because you're so caring and giving and kind to other people. And honestly, I think I kind of understand that too. You're giving to the point where sometimes you have nothing left to give. That is a very dangerous point. And honestly, for me too, I think I've learned essentially there are those people who are gonna take advantage of you too. They're gonna take advantage of you, they're gonna make you do all this stuff, and you're gonna keep saying yes to it for the sake of being a nice person. But you have to realize when to say no. And when you say no, you're not being selfish, you're not being rude, you're not being mean. You're drawing a boundary that is necessary for you to survive as a person. that should be respected. And if people don't respect that, they're not meant to be in your life. Those people need to go away. They need to grow up and work on themselves before they become your friend again or whatnot. Or, I don't know, live their life. They need to grow up and work on themselves. They shouldn't be around you. And that is important to set as a boundary. And that's going to be really healthy in the long run, whether it be your friends or your romantic relationships. And that's also a big part of loving yourself. But I think it's great that you recognize that, though. I think what you need to do is essentially draw healthy boundaries for yourself. And you're not being mean. You're just taking care of yourself so that other people, so we can see Tut again, so we can talk to Tut again, hang out with him, have a good time, do schoolwork together. But you need that energy too, to just be, you know? And that's something that I had a very hard time learning. And why sometimes maybe you feel like you actually purposely isolate yourself. Do you do that? Like when you need to rest, you just like hide away?
That's the whole thing with me. I actually tried to do that. That shit does not work out though. Like,
people come find you, or you go find people?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Like, one of the things that like I personally do is like, I'm pretty sure like everyone knows at this point that like I kind of just have a single, technically. My roommate just doesn't really stay here very often, which is fine.
Yeah.
We love him though. We love our roommate. But but like I literally leave the door unlocked. I'm gonna leave my door open. I'm sorry. Bruno Mars was kicking in my head for a second.
I'm sipping wine in a robe. I look too good to be alone.
But
That'd be pretty cool if we played it.
Oh my god, if we did, that'd be quite nice. But quite literally, like my door is always open, and it's always been an open door policy for me for the past like 2 years. I have an understanding that like I'm willing to give myself for my people. A lot of my friends have told me that I need to be able to reel it in a bit and have an open door policy for myself. Where sometimes I should be able to like lock the door and just be like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing nothing.
Exactly. That's called drawing a boundary.
I know.
It's okay if you want to give into your friends. Like, I'm sure like they're not saying that you shouldn't do that. They're probably also saying it for you because we care about you. And if you're feeling tired all the time and just like, you know, out of breath, you just gotta keep going anyways, there's no reason to do that. You know, you'd be surprised. Life is not that hard. If you can't do it, then like sometimes it's not about quitting. It's about taking a pause before you keep going again. I never ever say that it's okay to quit. Of course, the circumstances are different for every situation, but I would never promote someone to quit on something that they've been working hard on. No.
Excuse me.
But it's okay to take a pause, take a breath, some time to yourself, and then keep going. That's completely okay.
Very, very true.
And that's something you have to remind yourself, you know? Because it's hard. People are needy. People are needy as fuck. If you keep giving, they'll keep taking and taking and taking until you got nothing left. And that's the thing. If you want to keep giving, you need to refuel yourself so you can.
You're not wrong at all. You are not wrong at all. Female creepers.
And the steps that I've taken as well is I cut those people out of my life.
I got a problem with that. I'm not. No, not for you.
No, I understand.
I'm I'm kind of really bad about like cutting people out of my life in all actuality.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Because you're such a good person, that's why. Because you feel like if you cut someone else out of your life, that's like giving up on them. But you're not. It's just not your problem, that's why. But you make it feel like it is your problem because you want to help them. You want to fix them, you want to help get solutions for them, but in reality, that's their life. And if they don't want to work on themselves, they don't want to grow, if they don't want to change, and they're leeching off of you, those people have to go. They have to leave. Do you know how many bridges I've burned at this school because not because I hate them, because they're fucking leeches. Straight up. Because they just take until you got nothing left. Or like one favor becomes 20 favors. And that's ridiculous. You know, one favor or a few is always nice between friends and or roommates. But I straight up had a roommate where every time I was getting food, all of a sudden she'd be ordering her food. And I would have to pick up both of ours. And she'd pretend like then if I did that, we would become friends. But in actuality, she just saw me as a pushover. You know what I did? Fucking cut that person out of my life. Don't need them. Everything that's between us is just highs and goodbyes. That's it. And that's not me being mean. That's me saying no more. Because it's not good for me. They were lying about a promise of friendship when they weren't interested. You know, they were lying about that to use me. And that's why it's a double-edged sword. That's why it's our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. And you have to realize that.
No, I got you.
And that's why I say goodbye to those people.
Very true.
Because you don't have all the time and the energy in the world for everyone. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's better to save it for those people who are gonna give back and put in that much more effort into you as much as you give into them. You can't save everybody, is what I learned. You can't save everybody, you can't fix everybody, you can't help everybody. And you know, essentially, like, if you're friends with someone because you want to fix them, that's a problem in itself. Like, that's toxic too.
True. So the thing is, I realized like a while back that you can't fix everyone. That's one thing I realized, which made it a lot easier for me to do the things I do.
Mm-hmm.
And the term "not my chickens, not my eggs" is the thing.
It's true. It's so real.
I'm
sure that's how you felt. Well, for me at least, that's how I felt about my ex.
Boo that man, boo. But oh yeah, I forgot to say this. You said something about breath, and I was just thinking to myself like, I'm probably gonna make a cut to it at the exact moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck a breath. But one of the things that like I understand is like, for me, self-love is kind of just one of those things that like I kind of just do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never really thought about it very much when I was growing up, and someone brought it to my attention that I don't, and it made me like want to do it more often. Like those little moments, like opening the blinds, letting the sun come in, lighting a candle, making your bed in the morning, because it's the little things.
It really is.
Like for me, I'm really big on the little things in a relationship. Oh my God, I don't know what it is with me. It's ridiculous. Like for me, I have a list of the weird and funny shit that I say. I'm really big on music. So like,
are you jotting shit down when we go to Walmart? You should.
I always
We
do.
have our moments. We have a lot of moments there.
I want you to understand this. Every single time I go somewhere, I plan to say something off that list, or say something that's going on that list.
You always make me laugh so much with the random stuff you do say.
Yes, but it's the little things for me,
Yep.
and I've been very very particular about it because I've understood that like for me to like someone or eventually fuck matter of fact fuck a like to even have the smallest bit of infatuation with a person
Mm-hmm.
because what I realized is, and what I'm gonna explain to you now that we're probably gonna have to, unless you want to would continue because we're at the 50-minute mark,
Mm-hmm.
is that I don't love anyone. I don't like anyone. I barely have like an interest in people or infatuation in people whatsoever. But what I do have is the ability to figure out what I like. So when I enter a talking phase with someone, it's because I have a genuine interest in something they brought to the table. Whether it be your beauty at first, whether it be your smarts, whether it be like honestly being an all American yapper, whether it be your style, whether it be like your culture. I don't know. There's a lot of shit that I've like been interested about somebody. I take that into account, and I kind of write it down. Like I realized when I was younger, there was always situations where I was like talking about like, oh snap, I like this person because of the fuck. What do I like them for? And I realized that's not good. Like I can't I can't go into a relationship or like I can't go into any like situationship or anything without being able to specifically say what do I like about this person. If I wasn't able to write 5 things down that I genuinely liked about this person, then what was I doing?
Yep.
But that's the same thing about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I personally needed to be able to say like, what's 5 things that I like about myself today that I improved upon, that I feel good about, that I can say like, damn, motherfucker, you that guy. Like,
And that's fine. That's awesome. I mean, honestly, I think that's a way to positively look at people. You know, I think so much of people in general, we focus on the negatives way too much. We assume things, negative things, about other people way too much. Me personally, I know that at this school, everyone knows that this school is such a gossipy school. Because there's so little people on a small campus. We're confined here in the middle of nowhere where it's cold out, you know, especially when it snows, it's hard to leave.
ain't nothing to talk
So,
about.
what's the most interesting thing for people? It's gossip. And you know what I learned too?
Excuse me.
It's more than half the shit that people say here about somebody ain't even true. And you know what I do is like, even when I'm sitting there hearing all this, I don't believe those people. I don't believe it until that person themselves does it in front of me or tells me exactly if that's true. I don't believe it, especially if someone who I don't know that well, if I never talk to them. But what's funny is people like a good story. That's how Hollywood works. That's how the music industry, everything works. Everyone likes a good story. That's never going to change about humans. But what we can do to control that is we can control ourselves, how we react to things, our reaction to things, how we handle situations. When things like that come up, like step up, be the bigger person. And people are like, oh, you just think you're just so great, huh?
You think you better than me or something?
It's like, no, it's not. It's because I like doing the right thing, the human thing, the humane thing to do. It's like, what do you like doing? You just like shitting on people. You know, it's like the drastic difference in just character is crazy. And I think that's when you start defining really like who you are as well through your actions, through how you step up. And you don't have to sit there and be like, you know, shame someone. Like, no, like, your friends being shit on. I mean, are you gonna sit there and laugh with everybody? Are you gonna stand up and be like, yo, that's my fucking friend. I don't wanna hear that shit no more. You're like, this ends now, and none of that is true, anyways. Not nice. And it's unnecessary, really. Because we're all in this shithole together.
No, you are so real. So, you know what's so funny? Like, now that like I really, really think about it, like, I'm very calm right now, and I'm very much at peace. But I have an understanding of two things right now. One, like as I said before, we were at the 50-minute mark. We haven't left section 1.
Should we pick up the pace?
No. That's what I was like trying to explain to you before. Like, that's why I asked like if you would like to take a brief intermission to like just like collect our thoughts, be calm, go use the bathroom, just go vibe. But like,
if that's what you need, I mean, I'm down.
I'm okay, but what I would say is like, fuck, Jesus Christ, I'm so burnt. I'm so very burnt. But what I would say is like we're hitting where it needs to be hit at. And regarding self-love and all that shiz and all that jazz, it's something that like I actively work on quite a bit.
It doesn't just come to you. You have to work on it.
Gotta practice.
And it's a journey. It's a lifetime journey. You learn more and more new things about yourself, and you add to it.
True that.
And you just make yourself better person to be around, to help others, you know, to just live. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Indeed, indeed. But until next time then. We stopped today. I don't really know.
Maybe we should stop because you look very exhausted.
Exhausted is an understatement, hun. That's
you
an
look
normality.
very done or very dead. What's more? How is exhausted an understatement? What would be like an overstatement?
I think okay. So the thing is, like, I kind of wish I had a mic on for the entire day. This whole day.
With us hanging out?
No, I mean like even just
going
myself.
About your day?
So like this morning, I woke up. And this morning I woke up. And this morning I woke up. Like
Morning, I woke up today and this morning. In the morning I woke up this morning, I woke up. And remember that every morning that I wake up,
I woke up again and I got out of my bed. But no, yeah, no, this morning I woke up and I wasn't even in my bed, actually. I was in the middle of the floor. I had woken up from a party.
Oh, yes, you told me.
Yes, and like from that moment, like I reminded myself, like today's the day we have to record this episode.
Yeah.
So like quite literally this whole day I've been thinking about stuff that's like been hitting me. And I mean like some heavy hitting shit. And I've been like I've said some pretty nice quotable things, and I was just like, damn, I wish I put my mic on for this. I wish I recorded this. Because like it was when I had the most energy and how I was ready to go and what I was ready to do. Because like there's always things to say regarding like certain topics with me. But this is always something that I feel as though I could easily like yap about for like an hour, no question. Like I feel like I could easily just have this conversation like it's no tomorrow. Like ranging from self-love to familial love to relationship love. Like I can yap about this one. Because like I don't know what it is.
I think you do, Tut. I think innately everyone has a instinctive idea of what it is. We just can't quite put our finger on it because it's something that we have to discover ourselves to get a greater depth and understanding to be able to touch it, to have it be tangible in our lives. It's very different, but I think innately you're kind of understanding. If you know how to take care of yourself, to self-love, that's literally self-love right there. You're respecting yourself, you're taking care of yourself, being patient and generous to yourself, just as you would to anybody else. And that's you loving yourself.
True.
Really is. And when you are able to replicate that to someone else, I think that's when you can say that you love that person.
Oh, I want you to understand this. I think I've mentioned this a lot on multiple episodes now, but I want to settle down. I really want to settle down.
Even though you tell me not to settle, or other people.
So the thing is I'm not settling.
Well, that's true.
I there's a difference between settling for someone, and then there's there's settling down. Settling down for me at least is this is where I want to be at, this is where I need to be at, and this is where I'm going to stay for a good while. Settling is just I don't want to leave this person because I don't believe there's any other option. There's nothing better.
That's what you mean by settling.
Settling versus settling down is a really, really big thing that I thought about. There's a lot of things I think about, the term hard to get rid of, playing hard to get rid of. And there's a few other terms that I'm probably going to mention when we have other parts going forward. But
it's a good point. I always thought you meant settling by settle down.
No.
Now that I think about it, I thought it was the same thing, but it's not.
It's not at all, and it's honestly it's kind of sad because so for some of my relationships, I've quite literally I settled in believing okay, I love this person, and I'm willing to stick it out, no matter how bad it got. And I'm not saying that the relationships were bad because of someone else. I'm saying they're bad because of me. And I would never words. Jesus fucking Christ. Add this to the counter. But what I am saying is that I allowed it to get to that point where it was it did get bad. When in all actuality, I should have been able to just have healthy communication skills and say hey, I don't want to do this anymore, or I feel I've been hurt regarding this situation, and not being able to have those conversations or something that I'm really having those conversations is something that I'm really, really, really big on now.
Well, especially
I fucking hate when I can't have those conversations because it just. I understand that there are people in this world who physically can't have those conversations right now because they either don't have the emotional intelligence to have it or the maturity to have it, or some people just don't want to have it because they're not ready to have it just yet. But for me at least, I've come to terms with the fact that it's if I don't have these conversations, those hard conversations, those hard topics. And I'm not saying fucking record it for everything, but what I am saying is if I can't have those hard conversations, then what am I doing here?
Yeah. May I say something?
You're good. I'm sorry.
That was such fire, first of all. Everything you said right there, so real. I think especially as someone who has had a lot of actual traumatic experiences, not just people on TikTok being oh, I have trauma, or everyone being oh, trauma. I have depression. No, I'm talking about real shit. And I'm sure that some people have as well, but it's very important for me to have these hard conversations because some of the things that people have they've grown up as a kid, in a pretty normal family. You know, like, yes, family is not perfect, but at least you had a normal family. You had a safe place to grow and live. And you were taught all these things that grown-ups and parents should be teaching you. To not have that is creates such a stunt in a child's growth. It was honestly hard for me to understand certain concepts of morality, you know, to have a moral compass, to understand why things are wrong and right. And what keeps me going is having these difficult conversations with someone who understands me, with the maturity, you know, the emotional intelligence, the availability to actually want to talk about it as well. It's hard because some people are like, you're overthinking it, it's too much. It's really not. It's helped me live. It's helped me live as a person and stay alive and do my best to blend into this society where I stick out like a sore thumb a lot because of the things that I've been through. It's fucking hard. And I think sometimes people don't give people like that enough credit, you know? And they're just like, oh, you're just crying a sob story and whatnot. It's like, oh, well, wait till you go through that shit. Wait till shit goes down in your life and you're actually suffering from trauma. Let's wait then and see how you'll feel when someone tells you, oh, it's just a sob story. Everyone goes through tough shit. Honestly, people like that need to grow the fuck up. And you know what? None of us need credit given to us. We just need people like that to shut the hell up and just listen and grow the hell up.
For real. I'm gonna start with the fact that, like, when you mentioned that, like, the shit hits the fan, like, I was thinking about, like, a Kanye verse.
A Kanye verse?
Yeah. On a song called, I believe it's called I Wonder, where he quite literally says, when the shit hits the fan, no, it's not I Wonder. It's not I Wonder. I'm trying to remember the fucking actual name of the song. But the quote is, when the shit hits the fan, everything I'm not equals everything I am.
I never be picture perfect Beyonce. Be light as Al, be your black as Chauncey. Remember him from Black Street, he was black as the street was. I never be laid back as this beat was. I never could see why people are reach a fake ass facade that they couldn't keep up. You see how I creeped up?
And,
yep. Oh.
And I was just like, damn. I'm probably going to listen to it, like, right after this recording, to be honest.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Oh, that's so real. So real. But,
it is.
But, it made me think to myself, like, when the shit eventually does hit the fan, when the rubber meets the road, and I'm in that place where I'm between the rock and the hard place.
Yeah.
Will it be a situation that everything that I'm not equals everything that I am? Like I've like, I don't know why, like, growing, at least for like the past like 2 years. Well, no, like always, for real, very, very much. I've kind of been really big on like my outside appearance.
Okay.
Like how I look, like how I carry myself and how I do things.
It's important how you present yourself to people.
But the way that I am, like, naturally for right now, is that it's like that. But I have an understanding that, like, I could be demonized simply because of some of the things that I've done.
Because
you're
not fitting in with the societal norms.
Like, for me, one of my things that, like, I realized was, like, my hair. Like, at the beginning of my time at this school, we go to a military school pretty much. So it's like, everybody gets that fuck ass high and tight
Yeah, that buzz cut for guys.
I fucking hate that cut so much.
Honestly, honestly, it would really break me down if I had to do a buzz cut like that. Like, part of me as a person, because it's like how you look, and I think that's part of why they do it, because they break you down to build you back up, you know?
But the thing is, like, you don't have to do that, dog. Like, we're adults, bro. Like,
this is true.
And it's like I'd be sitting there like and thinking to myself like, what the hell are we doing here? Yeah. But like the main thing that like kind of came to me was like yesterday I had gotten into a situation where I was like having a conversation with somebody that I normally wouldn't have a conversation with, and they mentioned my hair and how they would like get in trouble. And for me, like, my hair is kind of like, it's not just an accessory. It's a piece of me. Like, I can get rid of it if I really wanted to, because I plan to. But before I go on my first class C tour, I probably will just cut it all off. Because I was thinking, like, you know what, let me take this shit seriously. But, like...
You'll miss it?
Yeah. Because, like, every time I cut my hair, I feel like it's cold as shit. But, and I feel like I lose a piece of myself. Yeah. And it's like, I love my hair. This is like, and I don't think it's just my hair, but I love the pieces of myself that make me me. Not just physically, but emotionally and physically. Where it's like my love for music, my love for my work, the idea that like I want to continue doing things for myself and for other people, like they're all pieces of me, and like if I ever had to like just give them up, I feel like I'd be genuinely saddened.
I don't think you have to give up a piece of yourself to help people at all. That is definitely a thing. Like, no one should have to lose a part of themselves or genuinely like a part of who they are to do something good. True. Because then is it really good? You know? It's not anymore, because it's not good for you, and before you know it, it'll slowly leach the energy out of you, the life out of you. The passion that you once had will dwindle down into nothingness. You don't want that to happen.
No.
And like, that's okay, you know, because you're kind of making the choice to cut all of your hair, but you have to remember that your hair is not you.
True.
You know, and also you're choosing to do it, and it's very different. It's not like you're being forced and forcing to give up a part of you. So maybe like just be like, hey, it's hair. It's a part of me, it'll grow back.
That's what I be saying. Like, I be saying that all the time. And then I just be like, damn, I'm bald.
I promise you won't be.
Like I literally looked at a pic. Like I watched a video the other day of like me during Rookdom, and like I didn't realize like how bald I was, but oh my God, was I a bald kid? Like I was bald.
And bald.
Like someone could like palm my head. Like I'm very like I've done that a lot. Like especially within the last 2 years, I've been palming people's heads. I'll just be like I feel like it's a side quest, to be honest. Like if I see a bald person.
Michael Jordan.
And it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I don't believe that like I just walk around palming the fuck out of people's heads, but.
Oh my God. Or like was Todd bald?
I don't think I would palm Todd's head unless the opportunity presented itself.
I feel like you have to be closer first.
Yes.
I think he'd definitely find it funny.
I feel like he would definitely find it funny.
I don't know why he just keeps coming up in this topic today. He was just so joyful and pleasant to talk to and motivating in his own small ways. clearly a very charismatic person.
Yeah. To be honest, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Todd, if he ever see this, just understand that you and Erika Park right here are the reason that we're recording today. I was so tired. Like, I'm breaking, like, as we speak. Like, I my character, like, everything that I do, like, I'm normally the greatest entertainer in the world. Or I believe that I am. Let me hold on. Whoa! Hold on, cool your jets, OJ. Yeah, like, I believe that I could be like one of the greatest entertainers in the world, but I have to bring the energy. I have to bring a vibe with me. I gotta be.
And you can do that. And sometimes it'll be hard, but that's why you got friends and good people around you who gonna get you there.
I know, but like that, like he kind of like you guys like reminded me like it wasn't just a goal; it was the thing that I wanted to do. Like today was a very, very unproductive day.
But productive.
No, it really was an unproductive day.
Are you calling this podcast not productive?
No, this is the most productive thing I've done all day. That and then our little friend date.
Oh yes.
That is the most productive. So I've been more productive in the past like 3-4 hours than the past 24.
No, I get you. Same.
And it's like I understand that there are those times where it's like you can have like your free periods and you just have your rest time, but like geez, Gmo Creefus, like
it's been a long weekend.
Not long enough.
This is also true.
Not long enough at all. But we'll come back to self-love and acceptance and all of that. We'll come back to that. I think it's time that we go into building healthy relationships.
Okay.
One of the questions that like I wrote out was like, what are some practical ways to nurture positive connections with others?
Okay.
For me personally, like, matter of fact, I apologize. You go.
You sure?
Yeah, do your thing.
Okay.
Okay.
I think one important way to build positive, healthy relationships is to have good communication skills. Petty-alt.
Yeah, no, Jesus.
I can't believe I just said that.
J-Mo Creevers! No, that is so fucking real. It hurts my head just thinking about it.
Oh, trust me. Like, that was a huge issue in my last relationship. For the longest time, to the point where it felt like our relationship was straight up constipated. For like ever. And you know why I'm refreshed? Because I fucking left that. You know? It's good to always communicate properly with other people, and a lot of the times it's hard because people always worry how the other person is going to take it, because we want to be considerate when we say things, which is very important. How you say things, your tone, your actions, you know, when you're saying it, maybe like the timing, you know what I mean? Those are all very important, and they all fall under the umbrella of communication skills. Oh, and body language too.
True.
It's very important to know how to communicate, because you need to be effective at it. To get across your thoughts and emotions in an appropriate manner for the other party to understand. And in times of conflict, as respectfully as you can, always, of course, no matter what. And also to just build the habit of saying only positive things about yourself and about others. I get that there are times when people need to vent. I think that's perfectly healthy. But what I think that there's a difference between venting and gossiping is you're venting your frustrations to like 1, 2 few friends that are like your close buddies, you know, one or two people who you know aren't gonna go around saying shit. Gossiping is when you sit there either to a whole group of people who have absolutely no connection to your issue with this other person, and you're just straight up slandering this person, making up stuff. You're essentially sharing information to destroy that person in some type of fashion. That's gossiping. And you're allowing that to spread, you're saying it to other people. It's quite unnecessary if you think about it. It's a mode of toxic communication. Does not promote a healthy environment, does not promote healthy leadership or teamwork or work ethic to begin with. And yes, it's always going to happen. You know, you can't prevent it. People make their own choices. But you sure as hell can get yourself out of those situations and not participate in it. And, you know, like, life happens. You know, maybe you're going to participate in it without knowing things happen. But it's always best to remember that those are some things that it doesn't help you look good as a person either. Because people always remember, like, oh, who was there? Who was the one talking shit there? You know, because if they know that you're talking shit about other people, they know that you probably talk shit about them too. Because that's what gossipers do. Because they hate themselves. That's the bottom line. Because they don't like themselves. So they constantly have to be like, oh, this person sucks because of this. That makes me feel better.
Speaking on that, what's the name?
Yeah.
Words. Add that to the counter. What is it called? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. This is really bad. I'm so far gone. But regarding the hating themselves part, I wouldn't say it's more of a hating themselves, but I would say it's more of like, somebody mentioned this to me the other day, actually. It was just like, people gossip and spread rumors and shit to like mask their own insecurities.
Yeah, because insecurities, what are insecurities? That's essentially something you hate about yourself or you don't like about yourself because you feel like you're inadequate in that department. And you continue that cycle by comparing yourself to other people when it's absolutely unnecessary to do that. There's always going to be someone who's better, who's smarter, stronger, whatever, but you don't have to sit there and compare yourself to other people. You could sit there and work on yourself and be like, hey, I would like to improve in this area of my life. It's a self journey. It's not a race. It's not a competition. But people see it as a competition for some reason.
Dog, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, regarding that, damn, man, we are cooking right now. God.
We are cooking. So much real shit is being said here.
So much real shit.
And you know, a lot of the things that we're sharing is probably because of our own experiences that we've had. You know? And a lot of the times, like, when I say this type of stuff, like, and I have deep conversations, I feel like people around,
excuse me,
not everybody, of course, but there are those certain people who are gonna be like, oh, like, that's cringe, what they're talking about, it's just too deep, like, they're just being condescending, they think they're better. And I think that type of mentality in itself already speaks for itself. You know, it's the unwillingness to improve on
speaks
yourself.
volumes.
Yeah, the unwillingness to admit to the problems, the elephant in the room. You know, if you can't even admit that there's a problem to begin with, how are you gonna work on it?
Who knows, man?
And like, if those people think that, they're like, oh, you think you're better and whatnot, like, no, we don't. But if you think that's how we feel, then you obviously understand that there's an issue with yourself and you feel called out. That's why you feel attacked. That's why it's cringe for you. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're like, oh, you think you're better and you're saying all this. It's like, no. We're trying to share our experiences and like talk about it and give advice and do some reflection. I mean, if you can't do that, that's like your own journey, obviously, that you can work on, but it's not your fault. Everyone has their own timing when they're gonna acknowledge things, when they can finally see what's going on, you know, because for me, sometimes, the longest time, like, I had an issue too. Everyone does, but like, I just recognize certain issues in me earlier than others, or I recognize some way later than others. But it's really not like a big deal to me. And I don't think that people have the right to really criticize other people so harshly when it comes to those matters. And I'm talking about, like, you know, like when it comes to being things like being considerate. You know, some people just need to grow up. Some people just need to experience more things. Some people just don't know what it is yet. And we're just all in the journey, and that's why it's important in life not to take anything personally. Don't take anything personally.
Don't take none personally.
Well, not anything, but you know, like when people who don't matter say shit,
yeah,
their words don't matter either, because they don't matter to your life. At least they don't pertain to your life.
They're not pushing your plot development.
They're not helping you grow.
True.
So they shouldn't even be there to begin with. They're just stunting your growth, or they're just jealous of the growth that you're able to do.
Excuse me.
And that's fine, but that's just a whole thing that they have to work on themselves. That's not your problem.
True.
It's not our problem or our fault the way how people react to the things that we do. Unless you're straight up being disrespectful, of course, then yes. But you know what I mean? It's like when you're trying to do good shit in the world and people are like doing that, yes, of course, their opinions and words don't matter. I used to be someone who cared way, way too much about what other people thought about me, about what they said, what they do, and sometimes I still fall into that trap. It's real. Because we want to be liked. We want to be friends with everyone. We want everyone to like us, because why not? But the reality is, not everyone's going to like you. Not everyone's going to want to be friends with you. And not everyone is going to be worth your time anyways to be friends with. Or your paths just don't go the same direction. And so maybe that's why you're not friends. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, don't try to go around and like be friends with everyone and trusting with everyone and nice to everyone. Like, you can be nice to a certain extent.
Cordial, if you will.
But don't overdo it until you know, that's the right thing to go further.
Before we end this part, because I think it'd be best if I end the part.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you this question because I feel like I've definitely like gained my answer regarding it through my experiences, but I wanted to like ask you so that we could both speak on this question. How do you personally like get over the fact that like there are people who just don't like you just because like they don't even have like a real reason for it. Like just like internalized beef. Like honestly, like that shit really irks me. Like how the fuck do you hate me? You don't even know me.
Now, trust me when I say this, me being a woman, and as a woman, I will tell you, So a lot of women have issues of just straight up jealousy. There, I said it. And then, of course,
She told him.
Of course, men have their own things too, but at the end of the day, jealousy is always going to come from a place of coveting something that someone else has that you don't. Again, it's about comparison. And people are not going to like you because you have a nicer car than them, because you have a better friend than them, because you do better in class than them, because you're stronger than them, because you're more diligent than them. Maybe to them, they think you're prettier, I don't know, or more handsome. There's always going to be a fucking reason. And that's just their own personal journey and maturity growth that they have to go through. But at the end of the day, like, also don't stand by and let them shit on you. Because I've tried still being nice to those people, and they've ended up making up so many false rumors about me. But there was a time that I was seen as a weird person. Let me tell you straight up. And sure, not everybody knows about it, but they sure had a great time spreading it to their small little clique group and everything. And there are certain people where, you know, I was roommates with them. During a time when I had a very difficult time in my life, and essentially I tried to reach out for help. And you know what they did? They ignored me. And they threw me under the bus. They pretended like we would be friends and instead tried to use me because I had a car. It's like all this shit. You know, I know a girl who still talks shit about me. And we don't even talk anymore. I barely even know her. We were roommates, like, briefly. And it's like, she still talks shit about me. But whenever her name comes up in a group conversation, I don't say nothing. Because I don't need to. She just equals nothing to me in my life. She's just another person. She's just another person who needs love, to grow up, to mature. That's literally all she is to me. Nothing special. I'm not going to be cruel to her. I don't know why she's doing that. Perhaps there's a misunderstanding. But the thing is, what I do know is, if people don't like you, who the fuck gives a damn? Who the fuck gives a damn? Are they gonna live my life for me? You know? Everyone's always gonna fucking judge anyways. What are you gonna do about it? You can't do nothing. Except just live your life and be true to yourself and be happy. That's the best medicine. That's the best revenge you can get back at these people. And you know what? When I tell you this, karma is a bitch, it's true. Karma is a fucking bitch. And everything that they've done and said about me behind their backs, wait till they get out into the real world. And it ain't college. It ain't the small little frog pond no more. And they go out to the fucking ocean. Bro, that's when I'll be sitting there laughing my fucking ass off when they see them trip and fall on their face and eat shit.
Dog, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Or I'm gonna be happy for them.
Yeah.
Because I know that they've grown up, that they've become into a mature, wonderful person that they were meant to be. It's gonna be one or the other for me. Be either laughing at you, or I'm gonna be happy for you.
I don't think I'd just be laughing at you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm definitely the one version where it's just like, yeah, good job for you. It's like don't get me wrong, there are moments where it's like I do have like envious moments and shit like that. There are moments where I'd be like, this motherfucker was bullying me and shit like that. This motherfucker made me like mad as shit. But like, I was successful on even my enemies.
Indoor formation. Sorry. Yeah, I just saw the email.
I used to pray for time like this to rhyme like this. I can't do this shit no more. I'm finna cry. I'm finna break down. But Jesus Christ, that I'm sleeping in. I have a 9 a.m. tomorrow. I have a 9 a.m. tomorrow. Don't ask me
Yeah.
shit. But no,
Oh, but look, Tut.
Mhm.
I think my only advice for that is if someone doesn't like you, fuck them. Especially if they don't know who you are as a person, they didn't even try to begin with. I mean, let's be honest. Their opinion on you is invalid.
True.
It's just invalid because they don't know you as a person. They think they do.
That's very, very true.
And ain't nobody gonna be admitting that shit to themselves anytime soon. Because it's easier to hate someone than to be nice to them or to be understanding. They just rather choose the easier thing to do. But also, I'd highly suggest stand up for yourself too. There's no need for things to get violent. No need for things to get out of hand. But yes, things will be a bit dramatic because people like that, they tend to be people who choose to hate and be cruel tend to have lower IQs to begin with. I mean, let's be honest. Because in our evolution as animals and humans, we are evolved where the animal part of our instinct brain responds to outside stimuli, where when we used to live in the wild, we used to respond to danger. So everything was, innate to be angry, to be mad, to hate, to fight these things, to protect ourselves, to be able to think outside of that and be more positive, to be kind, to generous to others is a new type of evolution. Okay, and if you have that and you can do that over being cruel, you're a more highly evolved human. Straight up. I actually heard a professor's speech on this and I was like, this is so true. And it's proven too, I guess, scientifically now that those who choose cruelty and hatred over kindness and generosity, yeah, their IQ is lower. So honestly, I'm not even sorry because they just be straight up stupid, bro.
Just straight up stupid.
And that's something that
Dickhead.
not even that's just something not even Mother Nature can help them with now.
True. You know what's funny? We actually hit part 3. Well, not part 3, but like the section 3 without even trying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Chimo Creefus. But no, what I do want to say towards that is just like, at least for me, like I've worked and developed for myself into believing that I don't hate anyone, that I have no enemies. Want some Torfine shit.
Don't have one enemy among these men. I have no enemies at all.
Vinland Saga!
It's true, like there's no one actually actively trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the things that people do nowadays is like baby stuff, like they just gossip about you, they say stuff, but when you look at yourself and what you've been through, what they say is like nothing compared to what we've been through. So it's like, how are you gonna make yourself care about something that's just so small and almost non-existent? Like, it's hard to make yourself care, and I think it's also hard to get yourself to that point sometimes.
True.
Because I was there too. I cared way too much. Like, I just want to be everyone's friend. Couldn't understand why people just don't like me. And you know what? People will find the dumbest reasons to not like you just because they feel like it. And you know what you gotta say is just, they're stupid and move on. Because it's too bad they missed out getting to know you and your kindness and generosity. Because, you know, that girl who still gossips about me sometimes, like, I still follow her on Instagram. Like, I see her stories. She posts a lot of really good quotes, you know? A lot of good, like, Jesus quotes, too. And when I think about it, she and I really could have been friends. We really could have been. But instead, she chose to be a fucking asshole for no reason.
Have we had this conversation before?
Yep.
Oh my fucking god. Is that... Because I was like thinking about it, I was like, I'm like registering in
You're
my
like,
mind.
wait, I know this person. Yeah, because you know that person.
I do, and it's honestly super sad. It's just like, come on, dog.
Yeah,
Lock
and
in.
she portrays herself to the world as someone who's like awesome, you know, like she's so like she's from the hood and everything. And it's like, but you're not, because the minute that I confronted her about the false rumors that she spread, she couldn't even say nothing to my face.
True.
She was silent, and all she could do was just lie to my face, be like denying that shit. When literally I've got accounts of like what she said about me from multiple people. It's like, I'm sorry that I called you out on your behavior, but at the end of the day, you chose to react in shame and instead just direct your anger towards me. And like, that's fine. That just means you're immature as shit.
I just realized something.
And that's not my problem.
I'm sorry. I wanted to cut your story off.
Sorry, I didn't mean like.
No, you're
what
fine.
you're
I just
saying
realized
just might hurt.
something that I'm not gonna be able to take advantage of my indoor formation. I have a 7 a.m. lift.
Okay, so we do have to go to bed. Okay, but like, was my answer good or did I cuss too much?
No,
I tried to.
hun, you're perfectly fine. You did amazing.
I just want to be motivating to those people who are in the same situation or similar, and like, give them hype and be like, "Hey, you got this."
You did everything that you needed to do, and you said what you needed to say, and I greatly appreciated you. We're definitely gonna make this a multi-part thing. I'm getting better about like making part twos for things that actually need a part two. It's just filming, editing, and the idea of sleep for me is like very hard to speak on. But we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it because I really do enjoy this and I really do love this process, and I honestly love this podcast, and I love the fact that we can continue to improve upon it every day. Every single episode, I want to be able to say that there is something new that I can add to it, whether it be new people, new edits, new little knickknacks and tree shrubs and shit like that. I don't fucking know, but like I want something to be different every single time, and it feels good. But do you have any last words, Bart?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me on this podcast. You know, and also I'd like to say that a lot of things I say may not make sense to some people, or, you know, maybe I said it in an awkward way, but I really hope that the things that I said would touch people's hearts, to motivate them, to know that they're not alone in this journey, and it is difficult. And if they ever need help, they'll always reach out to us or to their friends around them, and that they're really not alone. You're not alone. You're okay. And even though you're standing on a boat that keeps rocking, that boat will float and keep floating until it hits solid ground. One day you will be standing on that solid ground that you waited patiently for and built up. And you can truly be like, I did it. I made it.
Hey, mama, I made it.
Yeah, so God bless.
For real.
And amen to all that real shit we said tonight. Like,
for real. Woo! But no, as I always say, I hope this becomes a long-standing podcast that I will continue to work on. Yada yada yada. Oh my
Yada,
fucking
yada.
god, I'm so cooked. Oh, why? I'm just pissed right now because it's just like
Bro,
we get an indoor
11,
formation.
It's 11:03.
I know, like we get an indoor formation where we get to be at peace, but I have a 7 a.m. workout, meaning I have to get up at 5 to make like the small little breakfast, to make it there by 6:30, to get dressed, to mentally get myself together. Cause I'm cooked right now. Like I didn't realize how tired I was until I started grabbing my hair, which you brought to my attention that I do. But
Oh yeah, cause I do it too.
But no
Oh, and also,
yes.
like, not everybody will deserve your kindness. Just saying.
Very, very real.
I just want to put that out there because I forgot to say that earlier on, like, when to draw healthy boundaries. It's good to be kind to everyone, but there are people who don't deserve your kindness and generosity. They really don't. It's not because they're a bad person, or maybe they are, but people can only say fuck you, to people who say, like, oh, I don't like you. The reason why some of us are allowed to say that is because we've worked on ourselves. Because we try in life. And if you're not trying and just being an asshole to everyone, and people are saying that they don't like you, like, you don't get to say fuck you to them.
There's a lot to unpack in that one statement alone, but I do not have the energy nor the mental well-being to unpack that one. But we will unpack that with, you know what? We're gonna record tomorrow. After I'm done with film, we're gonna record tomorrow. But
yeah, because that's called entitlement.
True.
The minute that you don't work on yourself.
But
yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. There's a lot to unpack in that statement.
I'm just worried that tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna lose my drip. You know what I mean? The roll.
I want you to understand this. Like, if it is a situation like that, and you lose the motivation and you lose the love, just remind yourself that, like, we started something.
We did. I won't lose motivation tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure I dream about it. Tomorrow I'm gonna eat it for breakfast, hydrate myself with it, think about it in class, take notes, breathe it in.
True. But until then, I would like to say, I love you all. We love you all. Avida say, ciao.